Hello everybody, I'm really sorry that I haven't done a video in a very long time. The reason for this is because I've just moved to university, so I've been spending the last month being very ill and making friends and settling down into halls of residence, so I'm sorry about that, but I have bought a few new fragrances since I've come here, and I've obviously brought most of my fragrances over with me, so I can keep making videos. See, fresh as flu. The one I'm going to be doing today is something that I've wanted for a very long time, and I finally have a sample of it. I'll come to that in a second why I've only got a sample. But yeah, I've heard such good things about this. The first thing I heard about this fragrance was over a year ago now, and I think it was Katie Puckrick, who does really good videos on YouTube. She did a review of this, and I thought it was a really interesting sounding fragrance. I really wanted to try it out, but the reason why I couldn't try it out is because in this country, Bond Number 9 fragrances are only sold in Harrods, and I don't live in London. It's not convenient for me to go down there to try out a perfume, so that's why I haven't bought it. Bond Number 9 is a really kind of prestigious company. That's why it's only sold in Harrods in this country. Yeah, the idea behind it is the fragrances are inspired by different New York neighborhoods. So obviously Chinatown is inspired by Chinatown. I have got another Bond Number 9 fragrance sample at home, which is Andy Warhol Union Square, which is a very heavy floral scent that I'm not too keen of, but it was fun to try out. They're quite long lasting as well, so yeah. But anyway, to buy these in Harrods or wherever, they're usually they're over £100 for the smallest size, which is about 30ml, I think. So it's not incredibly convenient, really. So I bought this sample online and it came yesterday, so I was really excited about that. It comes kind of wrapped up like this in this little kind of silver foil, so it kind of looks like a little candy or a sweet or something cute like that. And then it's kind of the grab-on vial, so you can kind of choose how much you want to put on, but the opening is quite big, so a lot comes off at a time, so I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I don't think this will last me very long. I mean, look, I've only had it a day and a lot of it's already gone. So yeah, I've got it on now just to tell you guys about the notes and things. This is classed as a floriental fragrance, and I would agree with that, definitely. I'll come to that, why I agree with that soon. So to open with, I would say if you're trying this on for the first time, don't take the first few minutes into account, because it comes off as a really heavy floral when you first put it on, and that's not an accurate representation of what you're going to get in the fragrance at all. I would say that wait a few minutes before you can actually smell the top notes. So to begin with, you have peach blossom and bergamot. Now, it's definitely the peach blossom that you smell. It's kind of a slightly spiced peach fragrance. It reminds me of kind of jars of spiced peaches that you would find on a market stall somewhere. You know, somewhere quite exotic. It's a really lovely scent. The bergamot is kind of overpowered by this, so you don't really get too much of the bergamot. So yeah, to start off with, it's a slightly powdery, sweet peach blossom scent. It's a little bit spicy, but it's never into that kind of male fragrance spice at all. Although Bond Number 9 fragrances are unisex, I would say that you know, there's nothing wrong with men wearing women's scents, but I think that in general women will prefer Chinatown more than men, probably. So then in the heart you have some really lovely notes. You have gardenia, honey. Honey is definitely something that comes out. Sweet tuberose, so it's like a tuberose, it's a sweet tuberose. Peony and orange blossom. So more of that, you know, kind of sweet fruits coming out here. The honey, yeah, it does kind of touch on a gourmand at a certain point in this fragrance. It's never too edible smelling. It never smells, you know, Britney Spears Fantasy, Prada Candy, that kind of edge of the spectrum. It's always just, you know, it's always the florals and the sweet smelling fruits. You know, the peach blossoms, orange blossoms and peach blossoms. It's never, you know, too, I don't know, because I think a lot of people really don't like gourmands for a certain reason. They kind of see them as being juvenile. So this never ever becomes juvenile. It is always a complex, lovely scent, but there is kind of an element of a sweet kind of undertone to it, and I think that is the honey. And maybe it's just because the ingredients here are all sweet. They're all kind of, even you know, the florals are sweet florals. And also you've got the base, which has some really sweet fragrance, some sweet notes, sorry, and as well. So you've got patchouli, cedar, I'm not sure how you say that, cedar I think, vanilla. So yeah, I'm a big vanilla fan. I have to say, a lot of the fragrances I own have a lot of vanilla in them. This one doesn't, you know, it's never a heavy vanilla scent at all. It's never, you know, Katy Perry Meow, which is just vanilla. It just kind of helps to keep it sweet throughout, I would say. Sandalwood. I'm not sure what this one is called. Cardamom. I've never heard of that note before, so if anyone's any the wiser of that, please let me know. And Guaiac wood, another one I'm not sure about. Guaiac, but woods nonetheless. You've got woods in this, and patchouli, which kind of keeps the scent lasting for longer, I would say. So what that fragrance actually reminds me of, not in terms of reminding me of other fragrances, more in terms of what I think of when I put this on. First of all, probably that market store thing. It reminds me of kind of exotic jars of spiced fruits, you know, kind of cinnamon in jars, incense, yeah, just kind of stalls full of kind of these exotic spices and foods kind of all come together. The kind of overall market smell you might get in a kind of exotic country. It kind of reminds me of that to begin with. Another thing it reminds me of, and I'm not sure why, but it kind of reminds me of like a fair, like, you know, kind of the candy smells you would get at a fair, not traditional, you know, sweet smelling smells, not like you would get in a gourmand, but kind of exotic kind of. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. I think I'm just off on a tangent here, but there's kind of like a cooking food vibe to this in a weird way, and in the undertones, it's kind of, yeah, it reminds me of a fair. That's weird. Like, I think you could definitely wear this out to a fair, and it would be great, you know, going on the carousel with this on. Oh, it would be amazing. I'm really sorry I keep coughing. I've still kind of got fresh as flu. I'm not that well. Anyway, yeah, so it's one of those scents that, yeah, I can see why it will be called Chinatown, because, you know, exotic foods all come together. I mean, I don't, you know, not necessarily meaty smells like you would get in a Chinese restaurant, no way, but you know, just the kind of exotic sides of oriental market stalls and things like that. It definitely does remind me of that, and so that kind of comes in when to wear it, I would say. You know, if you're going on holiday somewhere exotic, not necessarily to like the beach, but more if you're going to like a city like Thailand, like going to somewhere like Thailand or India or Japan, or like anywhere exotic, you could definitely wear this for that. Otherwise, maybe like shopping, or you know, if you're going to the fair by any chance, you could definitely wear this. If you're going to like anything like cultured, I think, like if you're going to like an art gallery or a museum, I think you could wear this and it would just smell really wonderful. But otherwise you can, you know, it's a really nice daytime scent. I think you can wear this daytime or nighttime. You can wear it to going out to a restaurant, but I personally would more wear this during the day, because it's complex and nice, but it's not too heavy. It never gets it never gets too heavy. So that's what I would say in terms of when to wear. Who would wear this? Anyone rich enough to afford Bond Number 9 perfumes, I suppose. I can imagine kind of a woman in her 20s, 30s, 40s definitely wearing this. Anyone can pull this off, I think. It just takes the right kind of attitude, and you have to hold yourself in a certain way to pull this off, I think. So there's no real age limit on this. It's more if you can afford it. It's definitely something that people who like fruity floral scents would like, if if they could get a smell of this. I think that it's just a really nice complex fragrance. I really enjoy wearing this. Lasting power. I mean, I don't think you can really get an accurate representation of a lasting power from a vial sample, because the way you put it on is not as, it's more concentrated than being sprayed all over. But the lasting power is there. I'd say it lasts 4 to 8 hours, which, if you can afford to buy a £100 perfume, then I don't suppose you'd be too bothered about the lasting power, because that's something you take for granted, maybe. But otherwise, I think if I still like this by Christmas, I might actually have to save up and buy a full-size bottle, because it is a really, so far I'm really enjoying this fragrance. It is a really beautiful, complex fragrance, and I would urge anyone to try and find a sample, if you can, of Chinatown by Bond Number 9, because it's such a good fragrance, and I don't think it's as accessible as some other fragrances, because of not many places sell it, and it's obviously very expensive. You can find the vial samples fairly cheap online if you try. So overall, I would say that Chinatown is one of my favourite fragrances that I've tried all year, maybe even more than all year. I've been waiting over a year to find it, and it was definitely worth the wait. I definitely agree with what Kate Putwick said about this fragrance, that if you're someone who likes fruity floral fragrances and you want to kind of upgrade, then this is a good one to upgrade to. I really do enjoy wearing this. It reminds me of all things exotic and unusual. It kind of reminds me of a market stalls that are selling weird and wonderful things. So I really think this is a great fragrance. And yeah, I've also bought 2 other fragrances this week. I've bought Paris Hilton's new fragrance Dazzle, so I'll be doing a review of that very soon, and also Alien Sunescence Edition. People who watch my videos will know that I love Alien. I also really need to make a Vivienne Westwood collection video, really. I think I've got all my Vivienne Westwood things with me right now, so I could probably make that here. So yeah, now I've done one, I'm probably going to be on a roll and do about 50 other videos. So please keep watching, please comment, say what you thought of the fragrance, if you've tried it. If you want to try it, then say that you want to try it as well. It's interesting to know what the kind of target market for their fragrances are. It's always very interesting. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, if you did watch, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!